It's believed they track 1,500 personal data points, and they have 97% of the U.S. citizens in that database. Just after 9/11, to give you an example of how powerful they are, the government agencies were trying to come up with information about the hijackers, and they turned to that company Axiom for help. They found out that Axiom knew more than the combined government agencies on 11 of the 19 hijackers. An unbelievable story. Talk about scary.
Well, also, I'm sure you guys have read about this, because here I am using the NSA search engine right now, and I do use Startpage at home. My wife uses it, but I'm publicly using Google just because I know still the general public has become habituated, totally addicted to it, to show people. But here it is, Google invest in app that predicts the future. But that's only one story. For many years, they've been able to predict mass movements with over 90% accuracy. That's what they're telling us. And they now admit it's, I mean, here it is right out of Wired magazine, that they want to be able to tell the future. It says apparently Google can predict the future. And, of course, then there's fraud in this. They can just say that, then people believe it, and then that affects their choices via a bandwidth or a bandwagon effect. You guys have any comments on that?
Well, you can question yourself, why is Google able to do that? It's simply because the masses are still using it to a large extent. I flew in yesterday. I was in Austin waiting for my connecting flight. You look around and you see at least 50, maybe 60% of people, they're using mobile devices. So they're feeding their personal data into those databases. They're willing to feed those databases. Without databases, without personalization, personal details, they can't do anything.
In fact, we'll punch this up. Here we are on Google, on the NSA, and then you can just click right here and go to startpage.com. And we do need to get everybody to habituate to using Startpage, because as things get worse and worse, people have got to move away from Google. I mean, when you first came on, I read that laundry list. It's more than that. And I want to get Catherine's take on this, but also want to get David Bodnick's take on this, because you're a software engineer expert on this. I've studied it, though, and I remember being told by David Steele and others that Google wasn't started by the CIA. They are the CIA. And that's why they're allowed to do stuff with copyright nobody else can do. That's why they're able to, not get in trouble for years, driving around with mobile trucks, cracking your code, breaking into your computer. I mean, if I did that, it'd be 10 years in jail. So who is Google from your research, gentlemen? And I want to get Catherine's take on that.
Well, and I just want to add that it's not just Google. It's Google's the easy and obvious target because it's the default on everybody's search engine. You open up your brand new device and there's Google right there. They pay for that placement. But there's also Yahoo and Bing, and they're all doing it. And in fact, one of the big developments just in the last couple of months, and I know your listeners are aware of this, is that Microsoft just did the same kind of oneness policy with its Hotmail accounts that Google did a couple of months back with its Gmail accounts. And that's to say any email that you write or receive to or from a Hotmail account now is going to be grabbed by Microsoft and become
it's
a
worse
part of
than
the
that.
profile
To have a YouTube
you.
account, you basically have to have the Google Mail now, and to use their other platforms, you have to have it, and then they're tracking, confirming your identity. That's the beginning of the global web ID, where they can then turn off your web access.
So I think the bigger question is even less how did they get started, but what are they right now? And what Google and Yahoo and Bing, all the search engines have become is really a honeypot, sort of a lure to get people to log on multiple times a day and say, here's what I'm thinking, here's what I'm cooking for dinner, here's my doctor's name, here's the medical condition I'm concerned about, here are my financial data, because we all type it in, bankruptcy information or looking for a new job or, rather than make a reservation to a restaurant, we just type the name of the restaurant in and expect the search engine to give us the information back. And what people need to realize is that those search engines are not in the business of altruistically giving you answers for free. They're not big brother government, big sister helping you. They're corporations. And if
you
they
mean
can
the
get
government doesn't love me and Google doesn't?
They love your information, I'll tell you that. And the problem is once this stuff gets collected, regardless of who collects it, it's going to be a target. And we know that because the Chinese government, we believe, hacked into Gmail accounts and into Google systems so that they could target and identify people who were activists against them.
Oh, yeah, they're
so
being
they could
given
find
access.
dissidents.
That's the cover that they hacked
Clearly.
in. And at the same time, again, these back doors are not just in the software or just in the sites. They've been hardwired into the devices themselves. I mean, this is a premeditated technocratic takeover. David, comments on what you're hearing here.
You know, one thing that a lot of people don't really appreciate immediately is that the information from various sources really builds over time. So you put one search in and you think, oh, this search is nothing. You send one email and you think this email is nothing. But over 10 years and 15 years, when you really have information from thousands and thousands of searches that you're doing and tens of thousands of emails that you're sending and you're receiving and clicking on different websites and visiting different websites and the tracking.
Google knows you better than yourself because you consciously lie to yourself. It has the entire psychological map.
It's really amazing how detailed that information is collectively, even though you don't realize that. One piece at a time, it builds into a mountain.
I want to come back to that, David, with Catherine Alberg. I'm going to do the whole next hour in Overdrive if you guys will do it. We'll see if Catherine can, and I promise, open phones. I know we've got people loaded on the last subject, and I apologize to them, but we're going to open the phones coming up in the next segment for the 4th hour. I'm going into Overdrive. It's Infowars.com.
Have you ever wanted to generate your own supply of electrical power, even save money on your electric bill? If so, this could be one of the most important messages you will ever hear. Solar-powered generators are now available. These emergency backup systems provide life-saving electrical power. Unlike gas generators, a solar generator runs quietly, emits no fumes, and produces electricity from the sun. It's like having an electrical power plant running quietly in your own home. Run sump pumps, shortwave radios, computers, and even keep your food from spoiling. Whether it's hurricanes, ice storms, brownouts, or blackouts, you'll never suffer through painful power outages again. And here's the best news. A remarkable fall truckload sale is going on right now that gets you $1,700 in bonuses when you buy a solar generator. To find out why these solar generators are the best generators and get $1,700 in bonuses for doing so, go to falltruckloadsale.com. That's falltruckloadsale.com. Generate your own supply of electricity. Go to falltruckloadsale.com. That's falltruckloadsale.com.
We all know that Berkey Water Purification Systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey Water Filtration Systems. The Berkey Light Systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light System today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
In a coming-apart world, you need something to keep it tied together. That something is Atwood Rope, the highest quality rope made in the USA, from exotic braids for military, rescue, arborists, shipyards, tow line, or boating. Quality rope at affordable prices you and your customers can depend on. Find a dealer or shop online at atwoodrope.net. Enter promo code RADIO to receive 100 feet of 550 paracord free with purchase. Atwood Rope, working to keep the world tied together.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. Have you ever wondered why banks, stockbrokers, investment advisors won't talk about gold IRAs? They've been available since 1986, yet the financial industry won't recognize the value of gold for your retirement. Gold has outperformed paper investments, yet no word about IRAs. If you would like to have gold for your retirement, call 800-686-2237. Don't get left behind by rising inflation and low returns. Call 800-686-2237. Secure your future and call 1-800-686-2237.
Many times I've listened, many times I've wondered how much
said many times, but I want listeners to think about this. Think of what all the authoritarians of the last century, Stalin, Hitler, all those guys, what would they have done? How would they have used the technologies that have been deployed? And notice how we were lied to when folks warned about all this in the last few decades. We were told, oh, that would never happen. Now that it's in place, now that people are habituated, now that it's a habit, now that it's accepted, they go, yeah, we're watching you. By the way, we might disappear you. By the way, we might fire you for your views. We might take your kids, so you better shut up. The answer is don't roll over to these authoritarians. The answer is get back in their face. Catherine Albrecht's our guest. The founder and the CEO of StartPage are here. Robert Beans, the CEO. David Bodnick, founder. He's here with us, security and technical expert. And, of course, Dr. Catherine Albrecht. We're going to do a whole hour of Overdrive coming up and take your calls specifically on IT questions. The toll-free number, and by IT, about privacy, about StartPage, about all this, 800-259-9231. So we're going to clear the phones out. Sorry to those we didn't get to on the other subjects. And we're going to open the phones up for everybody now, specifically if they want to talk to StartPage.com, CEO, their head technical founder, and Catherine Albrecht, a great political mind and researcher in her own right, 800-259-9231 as we get ready to start the next hour live into Overdrive here, the fourth hour. But during the break, Robert, you were making points about, hey, yes, we know this is going on. The answer is get away with it. Vote with your actions. So please continue. And then I want you to continue, David.
Oh, that's exactly what I was saying, Alex. It's extremely important. People vote with their actions because, of course, they need to be informed first. Ignorance is our biggest enemy. If people don't know what's going on, they have no way to respond to it. You are extremely well at informing them, letting them know what's out there, what's going after them. It's our duty, we see it as our mission, to come up with products, first search, then the proxy, and next year we'll add private and secure email to that, to give back those tools to the general public, to make them get off the grid where they're being traced and tracked. And I think that's extremely important, that people are informed and the alternatives are there, and we'll continue to build them.
David, you got interrupted by the break. You were making the point about, and you never got to finish, all these thousands of searches, everything you're doing, the choices you make on those sites. I mean, what is this doing?
It's really incredible, the volume of information that is collected from you. In one piece of information doesn't matter, two pieces don't matter, but the profiles that are built up on you over a dozen years from every place you look on the internet it's really unbelievably detailed. And sometime back, America Online made a big, cataclysmic error in judgment, and they released information just about the searches they were tracking to researchers. And of course, this got out to everybody, and they tried to make this anonymous by giving everybody a number instead of saying this is who you are. And people were able to look at that and figure out who a lot of those individuals were just by looking at the combined searches they had.
Wow, I want to get Catherine Albrecht's take on that and more of your take when we come back, and then phone calls. But, I mean, here's an example. Your wife has a miscarriage. She goes to look up the information. Your parents, your family don't know. But the government and thousands of corporations that buy that data, they all know about your personal life, or if you have a disease, whatever the case is. What religion you are, what you're thinking about. We'll be right back.
Visit GCNlive.com today.
We just had a terrible storm in the east, but we are all still in the eye of the perfect storm. We have the most devastating economic conditions since the Great Depression, America's worst drought in agricultural history, and what about the presidential election? This perfect storm is a huge threat to everyone's food supply. eFoods Direct is preparing for the shortages, and you had better do the same. I can warn you, but I can't feed you. You know that eFoods is the best tasting and safest food on the planet. We all need a bunch of storable and usable food from eFoods Direct. None of us wants to be standing in a bread line trading our freedom for food. Anyone who doesn't take control of their uncertain future has to be just a little bit nuts. Go to efoodsdirect.com.